Okay, today I want to just do a walk. There's a bit of rain. It's light rain, but it's dampened everything because this week I write the 700th bulb log. 700 numbers, and it all started with just me recording what I do in my bulb houses here. So we've got 3, basically that extended one there, another one there, and the one down there. And a bit of repotting already started going on in this one. But it's also developed into much more of a diary for the garden, which if you read the headline, it's always going to be that. It's much more about the garden than just the individual plants. The individuals make up the whole, but it's the way the plants, and there's the crinodendron, one of our crinodendrons in full flower, but just to see how the garden's changed through the year. Areas where there was a mass of spring colour, there's a bald bit there, and I now need to try and work out what can grow there at this time of year that will work in harmony with what grows there earlier in the year, like we have elsewhere. So around the ferns, fern feeling a bit scorched. You notice that one is more scorched than the rest? Well, it's been very dry recently, and that's the bit that gets the most sun. Round the early spring beds had lots of interest in it. Now it's just Arisemas all the way through. Arisemas there, Dactylorizas down there to come as well. But one of the real nice scenes just now is coming up through all the self-seeded Aquilegias, through the Dicentra foliage, looking up here towards the Corydalis Craigton blue, more Aquilegias. Down here it's interesting, there's Corydalis flexuosa, and as I move along you'll see the transition into the hybrid Craigton blue growing through there. But this is where it mostly started. In fact, this is where it all started, down in this gravel area. Last year I lifted some from the gravel and put it across into this bed, redid this bed at the front of the raised wall, so that's why it's growing so big and vigorous, because it's been freshly split and introduced. So just round the garden over the wall, more Aquilegias coming up where the colchicum leaves now going back. We can starting to go back. It won't be long before we can remove them and open up the bed Aquilegias where the hellebores were. But just the garden is enjoying this bit of rain because it really has been very dry. Rain's a good time because the rhododendrons putting on beautiful new growth. You can probably hear the rain pattering on the leaves. But as you go around, not everywhere gets watered. Under the rhododendrons it'll stay quite dry. There is water dripping in there. There's lilies and all sorts still coming up. But you get rain shadow, look. Very wet slab. And you walk the rain shadow here because it's underneath the bush and trees. We walk round across and go over to the Asagraceum, Rhododendron ponticum, and up into the Carigania laburnum tree. I did a lot of pruning on that last year, so it's not so much in flower this year. But this is through the gateway up to the back area. And if I come down into the pond, you can see down there my Pinguicula island and the orchids growing on it. Across this side, the Salix growing there, and all that's with the around the back area that's now open, and we can plant more. I'm just going to turn around now past the another trough. Selmasias. The dwarf rhododendron bed, which are small leaf rhododendrons we should call them, but they're quite a size now. And into the shadier area, it's quite shaded here, quite a lot of tree growth, but there's Meconopsis cambrica. I still call it Meconopsis. So that's cambrica, but if I pan up, you can see a lot of shade going on up there. Light leaves, because this is an Acer above us here. A giant Acer. Going right up. We come back down and we can see across, looking over to the Aquilegias that are all self-seeding. It's nice how the paler ones have self-seeded into this shaded area and helps produce the light, and the darker ones are out in the light areas where there's lots of light. We just see how things are enjoying. The garden, as I say, has been very dry, and on top of the dryness there's been a lot of wind. Podophyllum. Is that not fun? All these flowers held underneath these great leaves with that lovely fringe around the edge. Petroleum, been in flower for months, still doing its work. And then further in, Cardiocrinum giganteums pushing up. They'll flower, they'll enjoy this extra moisture. And it's just coming back. Rhododendron Dora Amateus, flowers gone over, waiting to be dead-headed. Meconopsis. But we'll come back, let's see, more Aquilegias in the bulb bed. Meconopsis all self-seeded. I don't plant any of these, they seed themselves around. The Herbarias, now in flower, suffered a wee bit from the drought as well, but they'll recover. Out in the more shaded area, lots of Hepaticas, Ramondas of various types, ferns, all growing nicely. But it's the effect in the garden. I just love different, you stand in a different spot and you look across and you see different views, different ideas. The light changes and the scene changes with the light. So this grey flat light is rather good, although it's drizzling. It's rather good light if you want to get out and photograph, because contrasts are low. Cameras can deal with them. In bright sunlight, the contrasts are very strong from the lights to the darks. And it's very difficult for the camera to deal with it. Ball's golden grass down there. We'll just turn around again and another look at some of the Meconopsis. Erythronium bed, all gone down. Some seeds there. I hope to get into these and get these replanted and all lifted and split. But look, there's Meconopsis even seeding down there. This lovely scene here with the Ball's golden grass and the different ferns that have set themselves down here. Even down here, I'm quite happy to encourage Cymboleria muralis to run around in here. Really nice little bit of along the edge with Cymbolerias, Hepaticas, Ramondas, and all sorts of other things will seed in. The rock garden bed, one of the it's so good. This time it looks so bare at times of the year, and I despair that I can't keep it looking really good with interest, but it's very difficult with alpines. Up that end was in much more shade, but we took away a big pine, opened it up, and now a little bonsai on a table there. The tree peonies, another bed here. So it's all just, and I love the way that we can look at each individual part. So we can look at a trough or the raised bed, or we can start to combine them and look across them and create these wonderful sort of landscapes, I suppose, where we borrow bits, add the individual bits together to create the whole vision. So that's it. That's a quick, or maybe not so quick, walk around celebrating the garden here that is the basis for the Bulb Log over the last 700 editions.